Hello, welcome to the TPACK Kitchen. Earlier today, my wife selected this plate and this bowl and this utensil from our kitchen. She did this on my request. I didn't explain to her which one to pick, but she chose these three items. And then we randomly selected a task that I have to perform with these three items. I got lucky. The task was make a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. The other tasks would have been a lot more difficult with these tools. So I'm going to begin this journey now. Obviously I'll take out my bread, and now my biggest trepidation is whether or not this wooden spoon will fit into the peanut butter and the jam jar. So we'll see. The top does not fit in, so I'm going to have to use the handle to get the peanut butter out. And I'll pour it into the bowl so then it'll be easier to spread onto the bread. Of course, this is not the smooth peanut butter, it's chunky, which is going to make this task even harder. But I'll remove some of the bread, some of the peanut butter from the handle using the bread. That'll be helpful. And now, using the spoon, which actually is not too bad. Unfortunately, it's ridged here. If it were just a flatter, a rounder spoon, it might be easy, but it actually spreads the peanut butter pretty well. And I'll do the same to this side. So far, not the worst tools for the task. What would be better? I don't know, anything that fits into this jar, particularly a knife, to both scoop the peanut butter out and spread. What also would be better would be two of them, because in a moment, you'll see, I now have to get the jam out of the jar, and I'm going to be using the same utensils. So the next person to use a jam, if they don't like peanut butter, it might not be the best day for them. So I'm going to do the same thing. I'm just going to scoop the jam, however, directly onto the bread. Again, using the handle because the spoon piece does not fit in. But for the spoon part, again, I will spread the peanut butter. The jam. It spreads pretty well. The plate has served its purpose quite well because it's holding the bread and the jam. I don't think I could ask for a better plate. My wife picked a good one. Now, what I am going to do is try to cut this in half. Now, my spoon is not the best tool for that. But when my wife selected this plate, I actually was a little optimistic, even if we had to do a task with more cutting. Because it's not a porcelain plate, it's pretty strong. I could probably use the edge here to cut the bread. And the plate has grooves too, so it'll actually stop me from pushing the bowl all the way across off the plate onto the table. So let's give this a shot. So it actually cuts pretty well, and it rolls nicely. It pushed some of the peanut butter and jam out of the sandwich, but it actually worked out pretty well. Put the spoon back. So I think this was a really good activity. When I first started setting it up, I thought it was more of a repurposing activity and figuring out how to work with what you have, which I think it is. What I also think it is, though, is a reminder to us teachers that sometimes we might assign a task to a student, assuming they have the proper tools to use them for the task, and that's not always the case. In fact, when my wife was selecting the tools, I remember being really nervous about which tools she selected, because I was nervous about the tasks I knew I might have to do. And I wonder whether a student, before an assignment is posted, is fearful of what the assignment is because they don't necessarily have the tools or maybe even the knowledge to do it. All four of the possible tasks I knew how to do, so I didn't have that fear. But I guess I couldn't assume, or we shouldn't assume, that any task is simple just because we know how to do it. So this was a really enlightening and fun exercise for me, and I hope you enjoyed the video and learned how to cut a sandwich with a bowl. Thank you.